The 1992 pence, 2p, coin of the United Kingdom is a standard circulation bronze coin issued during the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, and it carries a great deal of historical, linguistic, artistic, and constitutional meaning despite its small value. On the obverse front of the coin appears the crown portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, facing right, designed by Raphael Makloff, whose effigy was used on British coins from 1985 to 1997, and this portrait shows the Queen wearing the George IV state diadem, a crown traditionally associated with formal state occasions, symbolizing continuity of the monarchy and the authority of the crown. Surrounding the portrait is the Latin inscription, Elizabeth II DGE Reg EF ED 1990, which expands to Elizabeth II, Dei Gratia Regina, Fidei Defensor, meaning Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. This phrase is deeply rooted in British constitutional history, with Dei Gratia emphasizing the traditional belief that the monarch's authority is derived from God, Regina simply meaning Queen, and Fidei Defensor, Defender of the Faith, being a title first granted to King Henry VIII by Pope Leo X in 1521, and later retained by English monarchs even after the Reformation, now representing the monarch's role as supreme governor of the Church of England. The date 1990 indicates the year of minting, during a period when the UK was still using traditional bronze alloy for low-denomination coins, before later changes to plating and composition in other denominations. The reverse, back, of the 2p coin, designed by Christopher Ironside and introduced with decimalization in 1971, features the feathers of the Prince of Wales, a heraldic badge consisting of 3 ostrich feathers emerging from a coronate, with the German motto, Ich diene, meaning, I serve, reflecting medieval chivalric ideals and the heir apparent's duty to serve the nation. Above the feathers is the denomination spelled out in full as 2 pence, which was deliberately done on early decimal coins to help the public adjust from the old pre-decimal currency system. The coin itself is 31 millimeters in diameter, weighs 7.12 grams, has a plain edge, no inscription, and is made of bronze, typically an alloy of copper, tin, and zinc, giving it the familiar reddish-brown color that darkens over time with circulation and oxidation. Millions of 2p coins dated 1990 were minted for everyday use, making the coin common rather than rare, and in circulated condition it usually holds only its face value, though uncirculated or brilliant condition examples, especially those kept in mint sets, can be worth slightly more to collectors. Despite its low monetary value, the 1992 pence coin is a compact representation of British identity, combining monarchy, religion, heraldry, language, and modern decimal currency reform into a single object that passed through countless hands in shops, markets, and households across the UK. It reflects a time when Queen Elizabeth II was well into her reign. The pound sterling remained a strong symbol of national sovereignty, and everyday coinage still carried deep historical symbolism expressed through Latin mottos, royal titles, and centuries-old heraldic designs, making the 1992 pence coin not just spare change, but a small historical document in metal the next top. The United Kingdom 2 pence coin dated 1992, bearing the inscription DEGE Reg F D Elizabeth II, is a copper-plated steel circulation coin issued during the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, and it represents a small but meaningful part of modern British numismatic history, both in terms of design continuity and the broader economic and political context of the early 1990s. The coin has a denomination of 2 new pence, a diameter of 25.9 millimeters, a weight of 7.12 grams, and a plain, smooth edge, and by 1992 it was no longer struck in solid bronze as earlier issues had been, but instead in copper-plated steel, a change introduced in 1992 specifically to reduce minting costs due to rising metal prices, making the 1992 issue particularly notable as a transition-era coin, with both bronze and steel versions known for that year. Though the copper-plated steel version became the long-term standard, the obverse of the coin features the third definitive portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by sculptor Raphael Makloff, showing the Queen facing right, wearing the George IV state diadem, a classical and dignified portrait used on British coinage from 1985 until 1997, and surrounding this portrait is the Latin inscription, Elizabeth II DGE Reg EFD, which expands to Elizabeth II, Dei Gratia Regina, Fidei Defensor, meaning Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith, a traditional royal title reflecting both the constitutional monarchy and the monarch's role as supreme governor of the Church of England. The reverse of the coin displays the iconic Prince of Wales's feathers, consisting of 3 ostrich feathers rising from a coronet, tied together by a ribbon bearing the German motto, Ich dien, I serve, a heraldic emblem associated with the heir apparent to the British throne since the 14th century. And beneath the feathers appears the denomination, 2 pence, with the date 1992 positioned below, all enclosed within a beaded border, a design originally created by Christopher Ironside for the UK's decimal coinage system introduced in 1971, symbolizing continuity and stability in Britain's post-decimal currency. In historical context, the year 1992 itself was significant in the reign of Elizabeth II, famously referred to by the Queen as her Annus Horribilis, marked by royal family difficulties and national challenges, and while this does not alter the coin's design, it adds cultural and historical depth for collectors who view coins as silent witnesses to their era. From a monetary standpoint, the 1992 2-pence coin was produced in very large quantities for general circulation, meaning it is not rare in circulated condition, and its face value generally exceeds its collector value unless found in exceptional uncirculated or proof condition, with proof versions typically struck for collectors as part of annual proof sets by the Royal Mint, featuring sharper details and mirror-like fields. Nevertheless, the coin remains popular among collectors due to its classic design, the Mackloff portrait, and its place at the start of the copper-plated steel era for UK bronze-colored coins, and it also holds educational value, often used to explain British heraldry, Latin inscriptions, and the evolution of modern coinage materials. Overall, the 1992 2-pence Elizabeth II coin is a practical everyday object elevated by centuries of tradition, combining royal iconography, linguistic heritage, economic adaptation, and national identity into a single small piece of metal that reflects both the continuity and quiet change of late 20th century Britain. The next top. The 1994 2-pence coin of the United Kingdom, bearing the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II and the Latin inscription, Elizabeth II DGE Reg FD, is a decimal bronze coin issued during the middle period of Elizabeth II's reign, where the abbreviated Latin legend translates to Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith, a traditional royal title used on British coinage for centuries, and the coin forms part of the standard decimal system introduced in 1971. Following the replacement of the pre-decimal currency, this 2p coin has a face value of 2 new pence, is round in shape, and is struck in bronze, an alloy primarily composed of copper with small amounts of tin and zinc, giving it its distinctive reddish-brown color. Although circulation wear often darkens the tone over time, the coin measures 25.91 millimeters in diameter, has a weight of 7.12 grams, and a plain, smooth edge, all of which are consistent with 2-pence issues from 1971 until the change to copper-plated steel in 1992. However, despite the metal change officially occurring in 1992, the 1994 issue is copper-plated steel, meaning it is magnetic, a key diagnostic feature collectors use to distinguish it from earlier bronze versions. The obverse design features the third definitive portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, created by sculptor Raphael Mackloff, showing the Queen facing right, wearing the George IV state diadem, a design first introduced in 1985 and used until 1997. And this portrait emphasizes a more mature depiction of the monarch compared to earlier effigies, symbolizing continuity and stability of the British monarchy. The reverse design displays the Prince of Wales's feathers, a heraldic emblem consisting of 3 ostrich feathers emerging from a coronet, accompanied by the motto, Ich dien, German for I serve, which has been the standard reverse for the 2-pence coin since decimalization, representing the heir apparent and traditional British heraldry. The date 1994 appears below the feathers, centered and clearly struck, while the denomination 2 pence is inscribed above, following the same layout used since 1971. The coin was produced by the Royal Mint, primarily at Tower Hill and later facilities, and was minted in very large quantities for everyday circulation, making it common rather than rare. Though condition greatly affects collectability, with uncirculated or brilliant uncirculated examples commanding higher interest. Among collectors, in terms of value, a standard circulated 1994 2-pence coin is generally worth face value, while uncirculated examples may fetch a small premium, and special errors such as off-center strikes, clipped planchets, double dies, or missing plating can significantly increase value. Historically, the 1994 2-pence reflects the economic and cultural environment of 1990s Britain, a period marked by modernization, European integration debates, and technological change, yet still grounded in strong national traditions symbolized through its coinage. Numismatically, it represents the continuity of British decimal currency design prior to the major redesign introduced in 2008, making it a representative piece of late 20th century UK circulating coinage, valued more for its historical and educational significance than for rarity, and remains an accessible and meaningful coin for beginners, historians, and collectors interested in Queen Elizabeth II's long and influential reign. The next top. The wording 2 pence appears on the reverse of the coin and identifies its denomination, while the surrounding legend, DGE Reg EFD, on the obverse is an abbreviated Latin phrase that appears on many British coins. Expanded fully, it reads Dei Gratia Regina Fidei Defensa, which translates to By the Grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. This title has been used by English and later British monarchs for centuries and reflects both the constitutional and religious history of the United Kingdom. The obverse of the 1997 2-pence coin features the right-facing portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Raphael Makhlouf, which was the official effigy used on British coinage from 1985 until 1997. This makes the 1997 issue particularly notable because it is the final year that Makhlouf's portrait was used before it was replaced by a new design by Ian Rank-Broadley in 1998. Around the Queen's portrait is the inscription, Elizabeth II Dean G. Reg. F. D. 1997, confirming her reign and the year of minting. The coin itself is made of copper-plated steel, a change that was introduced in 1992 when the Royal Mint moved away from solid bronze due to rising metal costs. Despite the change in composition, the coin retained its traditional reddish-brown appearance. The 2-pence coin has a diameter of 25.9 millimeters, a weight of 7.12 grams, and a plain, smooth edge, and it is magnetic because of the steel core, which is a quick way to distinguish post-1992 issues from earlier bronze versions. The reverse design shows the badge of the Prince of Wales, which consists of 3 ostrich feathers emerging from a coronet, along with the German motto, Ich die, meaning, I serve. This design was created by Christopher Ironside and has been used on the 2-pence coin since decimalization in 1971, symbolizing the heir to the British throne and linking the coin to long-standing royal heraldic traditions. In 1997, the UK minted a very large number of 2-pence coins for circulation, meaning that most examples are not rare and generally have modest monetary value unless they are in exceptional uncirculated condition, part of a proof set, or show unusual errors. However, historically, the 1997 2-pence is interesting because it sits at the end of an era, the last year of Makhlouf's regal, crowned portrait of Elizabeth II, which many collectors regard as one of the most elegant modern effigies of the Queen. Coins like this were widely used in everyday transactions throughout the late 1990s in Britain, forming part of daily life during a period of major social and political transition, just before the turn of the millennium. Even though it may not be highly valuable in a financial sense, the 1997 2-pence coin carries significant historical, cultural, and numismatic meaning, representing Britain's monarchy, its heraldic traditions, and the evolution of modern coinage under one of the longest-reigning monarchs in world history. The 2-pence, 2p, coin dated 2000 bearing the legend, Elizabeth II D Reg FUD is a standard circulating coin of the United Kingdom and represents a continuation of the decimal coinage system introduced in 1971, with its design, inscriptions, metal composition, and symbolism reflecting centuries of British monetary, political, and cultural tradition. The obverse of the coin features the fourth definitive portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Ian Rank Broadley, which was introduced in 1998 and used until 2015, showing the Queen facing right wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, a royal jewel dating back to Queen Mary, and this portrait is known for its realistic, mature depiction of the monarch, emphasizing age lines and regal dignity rather than idealization, while the surrounding Latin inscription, Elizabeth II DGE Reg FD, translates to Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith, a traditional royal title used on British coinage for centuries, with Fidei Defensor, originally granted to King Henry VIII by Pope Leo X in 1521 and later retained by English and British monarchs even after the Reformation. The reverse of the 2002 pence coin displays the Prince of Wales's feathers, a heraldic badge consisting of 3 ostrich feathers emerging from a coronet and accompanied by the German motto, Ich diene, meaning, I serve, a design originally created by Christopher Ironside and used continuously on the 2p coin since. Decimalization, symbolizing service, duty, and the heir to the throne, with the denomination 2 pence clearly inscribed below the badge and the date, 2000, appearing beneath it, marking the coin as part of the final year of the 20th century and the millennium transition, which gives it modest historical interest, though it was not a special commemorative issue. The coin is composed of copper-plated steel, a change implemented in 1992 to reduce costs, replacing the earlier solid bronze composition, and it weighs 7.12 grams, has a diameter of 25.9 millimeters and a plain, smooth edge, making it slightly larger than the 1-penny coin and easily distinguishable by touch, with its magnetic steel core often surprising collectors who test it for magnetism. Millions of 2 pence coins dated 2000 were struck by the Royal Mint, primarily at the Llantrisant Mint in Wales, and they were released into general circulation rather than being produced as limited edition proofs, although proof versions do exist in annual collector sets with superior strike quality and mirror-like finishes, which are more desirable to numismatists. In terms of value, a standard circulated 2002 pence coin typically holds only face value, while uncirculated examples may be worth slightly more to collectors, and proof versions can command higher prices depending on condition and packaging. But the coin's true significance lies not in rarity, but in its representation of British continuity, constitutional monarchy, and everyday economic life at the turn of the millennium, a period marked by technological change, globalization, and national reflection. Stylistically, the coin belongs to the pre-2008 reverse design era, before the Royal Mint introduced Matthew Dent's shield-based redesign, making it part of the classic decimal series familiar to several generations of Britons. Overall, the 2000 Elizabeth II 2 pence coin stands as a modest yet meaningful artifact, blending heraldry, history, and practicality, embodying both the longevity of Queen Elizabeth II's reign and the enduring role of coinage as a tangible link between the state, its people, and their shared heritage.